All that plus a sneak preview of best-selling author Ann Coulter's brand new book, The Clinton Cackle.
And welcome to Hannity and Colmes. Thank you for being with us. I'm Sean Hannity. She already has multiple #1 New York Times bestsellers on her hands. So will Ann Coulter add another to her list? She is here right now with her first and brand new look at her brand new book. If Democrats had any brains, they'd be Republicans. Best-selling author Ann Coulter. One of the things, this is by far, it's going to make people like Alan and liberals melt. This is the funniest book you've ever done.
Thank you.
And you wanted to be funny in this book. This was a compilation of Ann Coulter being funny.
Yes, and many of them are from the liberal hate websites. They do an excellent job compiling my greatest hits.
Well, I'm going to ask you about that, too, because they're trumping up these charges and attacking Rush Limbaugh unfairly. We're going to get to that later in the program.
Yeah, I'm a little upset about that. Didn't they realize I had a book coming out?
Yeah, exactly.
They're taking him out of context? Wait for me.
Well, one of the things that you often say is you don't know what will be the big controversy.
Right.
But there's yet to be a book that you've written that doesn't create a big firestorm.
Right. Something gets taken out.
If you had to guess.
And they're all in this book now. But I think, this should be a lesson to young right-wingers. You don't have to fear liberals anymore. They're not that scary. The first chapter starts with 10 years of my career-ending statements. And yet my human punchlines are gone, and I'm still here.
Well, one of the things that really comes across in this book is, and something that I've known about you for a long time, you are smart, you are cutting, you are funny. When people ask me about you, do you think Ann Coulter goes too far? I said Ann Coulter is an iconoclast with a sense of humor.
Thank you. And Ann Coulter goes too far. That's the theme of the first chapter.
That's right.
I just went on Nexus and looked up. I was thinking of calling that this book.
One of the things, I love what Ben Franklin once said. He said, the sting in any rebuke is the truth. Ann Coulter says it a different way. The truth cannot be delivered without Novocaine.
First quote of the book from Hannity and Colmes.
And you made that here in Hannity and Colmes. All right, let's go through a little bit of this book, and where I think airport security making moms take buses.
Yes, I led on this soon after 9/11 because, like you, I fly a lot.
A lot.
And I knew what would happen. And of every part of the war on terrorism, we've won every single argument with the left on Guantanamo, on staying in Iraq, despite their constant hysterical demands that we pull out and that we've lost, on listening to phone calls made to Khalid Sheikh Mohammed's cell phone. The one thing we've completely lost on is racial profiling at the airports. These Democrats are hysterical that Bush did nothing to stop the 9/11 attack, claiming that the CIA knew that Bin Laden was planning an attack. Well, what could Bush have done? They won't let us engage in racial profiling after the attack. What would they have let him do if he had known precisely about this attack?
All right, I guarantee you're going to come under fire for this. Baby killing, abort liberals, not children.
Oh, yeah, the chapter titles are excellent, aren't they?
Well, to be honest, that's the whole interview. I won't have time to get into more detail. Abort liberals, not children.
Yes.
Can you do that?
Do I need to expand on that?
A little bit.
Am I being subtle?
No, you're not being subtle.
I actually moved baby killing because I wanted to start with the let a moms take buses chapter.
Right. Christians must produce more.
Yes. I have a lot of quotes on the Christians, and as I note in the first chapter, going through 10 years of career-ending statements, it is striking that throughout every one of these defamation campaigns against me, there is one group that has always stood by me, and that is the Christians.
Yeah.
Even, whatever their politics are, they don't like bullies, they don't care about being with the in crowd, and fortunately neither do I.
Hillary Clinton wants to be the first woman president, which would also make her the first woman in a Clinton administration to sit behind the desk in the Oval Office instead of under it.
Yes. Yes, I get. What can you say?
For those.
He likes that one.
Did you like that one, Alan?
I heard a rim shot.
Oh yeah. Okay, you go. Tell a joke. Let's hear it.
Well, I'll tell you what. First of all, I went through the book, and I noticed. You see all these yellow
Yes.
That's all the stuff where you and I do Q&A for Hannity and Colmes. So I have two words to say to you. You're welcome.
No, it actually is true, and I emailed Alan this. I'm going to say this to your co-host here. Alan is. I know you're not going to believe this, but Alan actually is the best liberal on TV. And
you're going to hurt me.
He's the only hurting me. Well, that's true. The mainstream media is full.
I kept looking through these transcripts. Most of the quotes were originally gathered by someone else, but then I was gathering others. And you know, you read through these transcripts, and at least with you, I say something, and you say something that is within the same ballpark of what I've just said.
I quoted you.
Where on other shows, it's, you know, an hour. Why did you use this adverb?
All right. Well, I actually, because you put together some of the Q&A we did and edited it a certain way.
No.
Well, you cut it off at certain parts.
Well, we blather.
So I put together my own best of Ann Coulter with you and me from the last 12 months, and here it is. You say, assuming you aren't a fetus, the left's most dangerous religious belief is their adoration of violent criminals. You're not painting...
That's a beautiful line.
I know you love hearing yourself quoted back.
I do.
In other words, only the right has religion the way it should be, but not the left, right?
That's correct.
We believe in the worth and dignity of every human being. You agree with that?
Yeah, we actually do believe it.
By the way, you believe in the dignity of the Jersey girls?
Yes, but I do not believe in the dignity of liberals.
All right,
you got me on that
I just want to be clear there.
That's so scary.
Should you have been investigated when you said about Bill Clinton? The only issue is whether to impeach or assassinate. Should you have been investigated for that?
No, that was a serious legal point.
A legal point?
Yes,
Whether it should be impeached or assassinated?
I said if
you should not have been investigated for that.
If this were a civilized country, that would be the question.
But before we take the next segment up, and anybody you want to apologize for before we move?
Yeah, Ann, go ahead.
I want to apologize for being nice to you, Alan.
That's not an apology. That's something to be proud of. All right, so there you go. So I just thought I'd take some of your greatest hits and put them all together.
Thank you. You should have been a researcher on this book. I should have put those in.
First of all, where is my royalty check? Because I'm such a big part of this, I really feel that I should get a royalty for this. You would have, like, the book would be like a third less had it not been for the Q&A that you and I do. You do have a few different new ones in here, which I found I'm sure will drive
lots of new
people crazy. For example, it's become increasingly difficult to distinguish the pronouncements of the Episcopal Church in the latest Madonna video.
Yes.
I mean, so don't you think it doesn't bother you to offend your fellow Christians?
My fellow Christians agree with that.
In other words, so Episcopals aren't real Christians? Do you want to insult the entire church?
No, it's the pronouncements of the church. The Episcopals are a little bit more like the Catholics, where there are, priests who are speaking for the church, as opposed to your standard evangelical, who's just between the evangelical and God. And yes, the official church is making enough insane Madonna-like statements. There's now this huge rift that you see written about every day on the, well, not every day, but often on the front page of the New York Times, because the Christians within the Episcopal Church are a little freaked out by the pronouncements of those on high.
When we come back, I want to talk about this unholy alliance, these groups that are out there ready to attack you and Rush Limbaugh, myself, and Bill O'Reilly, and everybody else, and how it's basically the Clinton machine behind a lot of this and the Soros money. So
right, and they're the ones who really deserve the royalty check.
Okay, we'll take a break. More with Ann Coulter coming up right after the break.